Welcome to Love, Life, and Marriage with The Woods. I'm Saiko.
And I'm Sharon.
And welcome to our channel. Please do the following. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell at the bottom of this video. That way, whenever we go live or post a video, you'll be one of the ones to be able to view it and to share with your friends as well, too. Also, if you'd like to support the ministry financially through the payment options, you see that listed on the screen below. Through PayPal or Cash App, you can do that as well. If you'd like to support the ministry through merchandise, through BCV, Teespring link is also listed at the bottom of the video as well. Miss Woods, we have another topic to discuss, and this one is going to be right up your alley. A chance to come home. You like that, didn't you? She liked my play on words. And you'll see what we're talking about in just a moment. So, one of your YouTubers, very popular individual, Tabitha Brown. Hi, y'all. How you doing? That's good. All right. Listen, I wanted to talk to y'all today about something. Is that all right? That's good. Okay. Me and my husband, Chance, that's my husband, you know, we were just talking and we were in our living room, you know, our big old nice house in California that we moved. Yes, we did. And we just moved and we were just talking this amongst the two of us. You know, I don't really like talking so loud because I want to wake up the world, you know.
Stop it.
That's how she talks, y'all. Y'all know how Tabitha Brown talks. She may watch this video and that.
Right.
I can do a good impersonation. Now. She kind of like mix a little bit of Joel Osteen and a little bit of Maya Angelou. But anyway, go ahead. Why don't you tell the viewers and the people, you know, why we call this video A Chance to Come Home?
Well,
this one's right up her alley.
It's the title because Tabitha was able to bring her husband home, per se.
And what is her husband's name?
Chance Brown. Brown.
Yeah, Chance Brown. Yeah. And so he was a LAPD police officer for 15 years.
Yep.
Decided to retire and to hang up his holster and come home and to do work through coaching and other opportunities, and got a little bit of backlash. He got a little bit of backlash. Actually, Tabitha did with Wendy Williams. Y'all know who Wendy Williams is. She is a gossiper. She has her own, you know, show, Wendy Williams show, and she put up, you know, gave her commentary regarding what she thought was a foolish and, you know, unfortunate one, not winning. What was her thoughts about it?
Wendy said, "How you doing?" But she really said, she said that this marriage was doomed.
Yeah, she said that
after Tabitha decided to do this. After this decision, that this marriage was not going to survive. That it was going to come to a point to where
it's going to be regret.
Yeah, Chance would regret it because she's now, I guess, the quote unquote the head breadwinner. Of the family.
And she probably was already the breadwinner based on.
I think she was already probably making more than a police officer anyway. You know, doing what she was doing and being recognized the way she was from her endorsements and other things that she was doing. So there's two sides to this, but anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. But that's what Wendy was saying, was that this is how this was going to go. It was it was downhill from there, and you know, I'm not going to say that anyway.
You're not going to say what? What's she not going to say? You kind of like put people out there in limbo. Not going to say what?
Well, because, you know, okay, I'll just be upfront. Okay. Wendy's show is one of my guilty pleasures.
Okay. Why is it one of your guilty pleasures?
Because some of the things that she talks about, I like to listen to. Some of the things, you know, some of the stuff is, you know, I can
She's unbelievable.
Deal without it. Right.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's just one of the, you know, things that I watch sometimes. Anyway, so I would have to say, though, that this is one of those things that I just disagree with her on. And why is because I believe that, due to her recent divorce, that Wendy is really speaking out of pain.
Well, her husband's name was what?
Kevin.
Kevin Hunter.
Or Kelvin, whatever.
Kevin Hunter.
Yeah. So I think that she still, I know she says she's not, but the way she speaks about certain things leads me to believe that she's still hurt.
Okay.
And that she is
bitter.
Somewhat bitter.
Okay.
Because of what happened and how things transpired.
Yeah. Because there's some projection. That's some projection of negativity on.
Because she was the breadwinner. Kevin was nobody until he got with Wendy.
Okay.
He didn't have the kind of notoriety that he had. Right. Being married to her. Okay. So, but my thing is that does not happen in every marriage. We know people personally where the wife made more money than the husband. Yeah. Now, was it an issue in the beginning? Yes. Right. That was just dealing with insecurity. Yeah. And once you deal with those insecurities, you realize that your spouse is there to support you as well. Right. I don't think there would be any, jealousy or bitterness, right, towards the other spouse. And I don't believe a woman should have to dumb down herself for her husband to be elevated. I believe that God put whole people together to make one union. When I met you, you already had a degree. I don't have a degree. When I met her, she already had, her goals and what she wanted to do in her life. So did I. But when we came together, we were willing to set aside what we thought and what we may have wanted to do for the betterment of our marriage and ultimately a family. Right. Some people, y'all may have a different philosophy when it comes to that, and we may do a video on that in the future about, marriage and the philosophy of marriage and things like that. But, God put two people together to become one. I don't believe women should have to dumb down themselves or make themselves to seem less intelligent to prove that, they love their spouse or that they, want to be with that spouse. I believe that if you're secure in who you are, because it really starts, to be honest with you, in your understanding and identity in Christ. If you know who you are in Christ, you can't tell me that you're gonna let somebody else tell you who you're not. Right. It ain't gonna happen like that. So I just believe that, number one, women shouldn't have to dumb themselves. They should have to lessen themselves to make themselves, to feel inferior or less important because they want to boost the man's ego or the man's self-esteem. No. If we understand that we both have worth and value because God made us in His image, then I shouldn't expect my wife to lose who she is or lose her identity and her purpose and her calling that God has for her life, just so she can satisfy me and fulfill my goals and fulfill my dreams. No, that's I don't see that in Scripture. I believe that when we come together as one. So if she had money before she met me, now we got money. Right. It's not just where that's your money and this is my money. When I hear people say that, it just makes me feel some kind of way because that's a totally unbiblical view when it comes to oneness. Exactly. The two shall become one, not the two shall have their separate accounts. Right. So let me ask you this then. What is your view on if the wife is, doing something that's her passion or whatever, and she just happens to bring home more money, but we know or believe that the man is supposed to be the provider for the family. Right. So how do you balance those two things out if the husband is supposed to be the provider for the family? He's supposed to provide. So that's his purpose. That's his calling. The wife is supposed to be the helpmeet. So she's helping. Insofar as what she's doing is not interfering with her main priority, which is being a wife and a mother in the home. If they have children, because some may not have children, so I don't want to put that as an obligation. But if her responsibility and role is to come alongside that husband, and she's doing that through the means and mechanisms of her gifts and of her talent and even maybe a career,
then I say praise God for that. But I will also put as a caution, understand what your purpose and your calling is as a woman, and particularly as a woman of God. Because there could be there's too many women that I see that are putting their career and their business and their aspirations above their marriage, and you can't do that. Again, it goes back to the whole oneness principle. So if in the case of Tabitha, so she makes more money than Chance. Okay, they had an agreement because I watched her response to Wendy in the video.
Yeah.
And I believe it's one of the best gracious, and most gracious response. She did a gracious clapback, as they call it.
She did. She did. She didn't shake her head. You ain't gonna tell me how to do. She didn't do none of that. She just basically said, "I'm gonna pray for you. I wish you find the joy and love that I have and my husband and I have in our marriage, and that someone will love you the way I mean, she didn't say it out of spite or anything like that. But they have an understanding, and they had an agreement. She said that if I make it, big, or if I am in a position where God blesses this, I'm taking you out of it. And her reasons were, number one, she didn't want her husband have to be placed in a dangerous situation, constantly having to wear a bulletproof vest and putting himself in life-threatening situations. No wife would want that.
But they know that if that's what their husband wants to do, and again, what does he want to do? Because apparently he had no problem quitting.
Right.
He had no problem quitting. So it'd be different if she left him because, she said, well, I told me I was making more money. I wanted to bring him home, and he didn't want to come home, or he didn't want to quit his job. But then now you're dealing with a Jezebel. Now you're dealing with a woman that doesn't know her role, doesn't know her place, and don't know her lane. If this is his calling, and this is what God has called him to do, that's one thing. But apparently, that may have been temporary for him. We don't know. We don't have all the intricate details of what happened. We do know this, that they had a conversation. They came to an agreement. That agreement had been reached. That fulfillment and desire had been met. And she took her husband out of a situation or out of a career that basically we know, especially now with people trying to defund the police and people that don't have a respect for the police. And then he's a black man as well too. Then all of these different factors and variables probably, was a good thing for him to come out. But he's not coming out and doing nothing. That's another thing. So he's coming out, he's coaching, he's doing what he loves to do.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Again, to each his own. If my wife made more money than me, and because of her skills and because of what God has blessed and gifted her, I don't feel any less than a man. I'm like, shoot, hey, that's more things we can do. Yeah. That's more opportunities that we have. That's more things we can, help other people with. Because that's our mentality. That's our mindset. You're not dealing with somebody that has this mentality, it's my money. We have never said that by God's grace. We have never, ever said when we came together, this is my money, this is your money, and then we'll have our own account and we'll have our account together jointly. Now, we know some couples, y'all may be like that. I understand this. That's your house. Just know this. If you have separate accounts, the question to ask yourself is why? Does that wife have access to that account?
Full access.
Do they have full access to it? Are they able to say, hey, I need $100 or whatever the case might be? No, that's my money. Once you start hearing this, my money, my account, my this, my that, you have moved out of the realm of oneness into the realm of meism, and you don't want that. So I believe it's a good thing. I believe it's a good thing. I believe it's something that, I pray that God will bless that, because again, being a police officer in this culture and in this society, it's not. I pray for police officers. I pray for law enforcement officials because they have a very tough job. Very tough job. They don't get paid a lot for what they do, but they put their lives on the line every day and are treated in the most undeserving ways as possible. So, our goal is for you to come home, but we have a plan. You know what I'm saying? But my wife's responsibility is to be a helpmeet to me. we were just joking about that because we were off today before we recorded this video. And I said, man, it would be nice for both of us to do what we were doing, just being at home and just recording videos. We know couples like that.
Yeah.
All they do is sit in front of their camera, have the lights on, and they just pop out videos. We ain't hating. Not hating. I ain't hating. I'm not. I don't know about her. I ain't hating.
I'm not hating, dear.
She ain't hating, but she kind of like feeling some kind of way.
Just waiting.
So she always so. And if God does that, then praise God. But all I'm saying is, right now, where He has us, we have come to an understanding that hey, it takes both of us to make what we are trying to do work.
Yeah.
If I could do it by myself, trust me, I would. And there had been times where I did do it by myself, and we had our struggles. But one thing I did know is that she had my back, and that was my motivation. That was my push. But she also knew that if there was a time where she needed to step out for a season, because this is the season that we are in as a couple, then she had no problem doing that. And thank God that our children are older and that they were able to help each other and also be responsible in the areas and realms of authority and influence and of things that they were called to do, and it helped the whole family.
It did.
And so, it'd have been different. And I believe that God's timing is impeccable, because if they were little, it couldn't have happened.
Wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened. And so we're just grateful.
Remember when it did and what happened?
What? I mean, what? Tomorrow? Which one?
Remember when I went back to work? This is before Madeline.
Yeah.
And what I told you?
Hey, you said I couldn't do this no more. I can't do this no more.
And why was I crying?
Because she didn't want to be out there.
No, where was my check going?
Oh, it was going to daycare.
Yeah. My whole check was going to the daycare. I'm like, what's the point in me working there?
Yeah. When I say she was mad, listen, man, she was so mad.
I was like,
we was driving. We was on East Hardy. We was on the Hardy. We was on East Hardy Road or Hardy Road, something like that. I remember that. And she opened up her check stub and she was like, "This don't make no sense." And that's all she said. That because she was, she didn't say what she wanted to say. But she said, "This don't make no sense." I'm like, "What's wrong now?" "Oh, my money's going to daycare, dear. What are we doing? What are we doing?" And I was like, "Oh boy." Yeah. And it was true though.
It was true.
It was true. I mean, they may have left a little bit of change left over, but pretty much,
yep,
it was going to daycare.
Because at that time we had 2 in daycare.
It was going to daycare. And so now, thank God we don't have to deal with that. We don't have to, but I knew that, she like, it was like, I mean, if we might as well have her come home, and we just had to do what we had to do. And we did. It had its hard moments, but even through that, God was faithful, and even where we are today. So we look back on where we were, look at where we are today, and I'm telling you, I know for a fact, it's only by God's grace.
Only by God's grace.
I mean, it really is. Even going through what we have experienced with this pandemic, God has protected us.
Yes,
He has protected us. He's preserved us. None of us have had COVID.
Blessed us tremendously.
None of that. I mean, and he's also used people and viewers like you through your support, tangible love gifts. We really do appreciate that.
Yes, we do.
Because this is how we are able to do some of the things that we do. But we understand that if none of that happened, we have to support each other.
Right.
And so we want to encourage those of you. You may be in that season where your spouse is at a job and they want to come home, or they want to do different things. Wherever God has you in that season, embrace it. Don't fight it. Embrace it. And then also look at where you want to be. Have those conversations with your husband, with your wife, and say, "Hey, this is what I want to do," or tell them what you see. We do this all the time. We always asking each other, "Okay, what do you see us doing and around this time or around this time?" And then we look at what we want to do, for near goals, and then for far or future goals. In 5 years, I want her within less than 5. Seriously, but we talking about she talking about what? One impossible 2.
5 months.
See, And listen, if and what we're doing now, seriously, and we kind of like letting y'all just peek your head into our life. There are things that we have been praying for, and that we're hoping that God will open up doors, especially with me, through things that I've applied for and things that I'm waiting to get responses from. Because if those things occur, then that is going to propel us to a place to where once that check hit, it's gonna probably be game over for her. She see, I mean, and so we kind of like just waiting, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we want to be faithful. We want to be patient,
right?
Because another thing is rushing. You don't want to rush.
No.
You don't want to rush. You don't want to try to quote unquote move ahead of God. Even though we know His eyes in every place, we know He's omnipresent. He's always everywhere, all the time. We got that, but.
That's a hard place to be sometimes.
Yeah, if God has you,
it is.
If God has you,
I'll be honest, it's a hard place to be sometimes.
And that's why you have to have that spouse balance the other spouse. Mm-hmm. You know, both of y'all can't always want to be rushing.
Yeah.
Because y'all just setting each other up for failure. Somebody's going to have to put the brakes on and say, "Hold on, baby. Hold on, honey. Hold on, dear. Now, remember what we talked about.
Yeah.
You know, I know we want to do this, but we need to be focusing on this right now. You know, sometimes delay does not always mean denial, and we're learning through this. Again, we have 4 girls. We got a daughter getting ready to she's going to college this year. You got our second oldest one. She's going to be graduating from high school, going to college next year. Our life dynamics have changed. One wants to drive. We only got 2 cars that we got to use to go to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, this, and some of y'all know where we are. Y'all know what it's like. Y'all been down that road. You know what I'm saying? So we may need to pull on you, and that's why we ask for you all to give us your thoughts and share your thoughts and your feedback in the comments, because this is how we are able to grow, and this is how we're able to come alongside of each other. But if you're in a situation where you can bring your spouse home, and it's going to be a blessing and a benefit for the family and for the marriage as a whole, by all means. I mean, hey, let each man be convinced in his own mind. Who are we to tell you, or who is Wendy Williams to tell you or I how we are to move in our marriage, especially when they don't have one. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'll tell you this last point. Consider the source of your critics. Consider the source of your critics. Because not all criticism comes from a sincere place. You need to examine and to discern what kind of information you're getting. What frame of heart and motivation is that coming from? Are you detecting jealousy? Are you detecting envy? Because some people may want what you got. Yeah. And they're mad, or they're jealous, or resentful, or not content where they are in life, and so they want to project their negative attitudes and their negative heart upon you. And so you need to know and understand your marriage is your marriage. And that's the first ministry that God has given to all of us. Protect it.
Yes.
Guard it.
Yes.
Guard it. You don't let anyone come in the doors of that marriage without you or your spouse's authorization. Because once they come in there, it's going to be hard to get them out if they're unauthorized. What you got?
I was also going to add this as well. We're talking about being content and those type of things. People who, and you were just saying, those who lack that kind of contentment, you can have all the things in the world. You can have all the money in the world. You can have a spouse who has a lot of money in the world. But if you don't have the oneness with your spouse, that money is not going to mean a hill of beans.
Right.
Or if you're single and you're not married anymore, and you still got all this money, like Wendy, but you in an apartment or a condo or whatever, by yourself.
Just dating this person, going, I mean.
You can pretend to be happy, and you can have the world at your fingertips. But there's nothing like having someone with you that supports you and loves you because of who you are, just because of who you are.
Yeah.
Not because they want the notoriety, not just because they want to get something from you, but just because.
Right.
Yeah. So all the money can't buy that.
Yeah.
You can have that, but it can't buy happiness, so to speak, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I remember the proverb says, better is a meal with vegetables than a fatted calf where there's hatred and strife. In other words, Solomon is saying it's better to have little with love than a lot with no love.
Right. That is so true.
And you may know people like that. Like my wife just mentioned, get all the money that they can shake a stick at, but there's no peace. I'd rather have what I have with her than to have it anywhere else and have whatever I want with somebody that I can't even enjoy a meal with. And some of y'all know what that's like.
Yep.
Some of y'all know that you loathe going home, or you really don't care to go out with your spouse because you don't really enjoy each other. Who wants to live like that?
Right.
I mean, for me, a good meal is being able to look across the table from my golden ground and say, boy, when you get home, we're gonna have some dessert. I'm enjoying my company. I like enjoying my company. Don't y'all like enjoying your company? Tell us how much you like to enjoy your company in the comments below. Because right now my wife is blushing like she's in court right now, and ain't been in court a day in her life. Bless her heart. But we do appreciate it. We do hope that this is, something that you can glean from, and hopefully, again, something that you can take to heart and to consider. Again, your marriage that God has given to you, and we hope and pray that it's something that you are using for the glory of God and for others to be able to see as an example to follow, which is what we desire to do every time we post videos, every time we do a live broadcast. We don't do it for ourselves. We do it for you, the viewers, and those who support this ministry. So if you'd like to do that again, the ministry support information is listed at the bottom of the video through PayPal, Cash App. If you'd like to reach out to us, our email information is also listed below the bottom of this video. Also supported the ministry through merchandise, through BCV, through a Teespring link. You can do that as well. Ma'am, any other thoughts before we end it?
Nope, that's it.
All right, see how good that was? That's our time. We thank you for yours. And until next time, bye.